have to kind of just play a bit more defensively than you would expect at level 1. But as you say, a few more levels, a bit more information on the enemy jungler's pathing, and they'll be pushed up right under the turret of Jin Air.
Yeah, but even up underneath that turret bang, gonna be fine. So last hit has that short fuse passive to really get those big hits in. So he'll be all right for the time being. Meanwhile, some trades up in top. Ixu gets a toss on Huni. Goes quite low. Already has chugged up a lot of those charges in the refillable potion. Starting off with the Dark Seal, I think we know exactly where that build's gonna go.
Yeah, it's been crowned the Dank Seal build because you don't build one of them, Achilleos. They actually don't have a unique passive. So given that a lot of Singed power is from regeneration early, something like Corrupting Potion, double, triple Dark Seal has become the standard because you get that ult, suddenly you have those extra mana regen, extra health regen, and every Dark Seal gives you 25% bonus regeneration, suddenly 75% on what is a very high base number from the ult, and it doesn't matter how much harass you're taking, you're going to regen through it.
Yeah. You can see Ixu already has gone back, burned out the teleport to get back into the lane so he can keep inching ahead in the CS, but double Dark Seal is the start. We'll see if he wants to go all the way for the third one, or if he'll start opting into some other build items to connect onto Teddy quite low. Showers there from Snowflower to keep him alive, but otherwise, not too much heavy trading in the bottom side of the map.
I welcome this Singed meta that may be coming through, the Singed Overlords from Korea.
When's the last time we really had a Singed meta?
Oh, Season 2.
I was going to say, it's been quite some time.
One of the most famous Singed of all time is Shy, who, of course, is on the bench for the Rocksiders. We didn't see him yesterday. We also have Flame, who played some Singed in his day. But the reason why he's there is that standard lanes suddenly Singed, famously useless in a 1v2, but quite good in some standard lane matchups. And then when the tanks come in, if they don't have a lot of wave clear, the moment you can actually get through the turret, start proxying waves, guarantee vision and so much accountability of the enemy top laner, and then just go into a standard tank build, Singed becomes a very tempting pick.
See how it's going to play out here for Ixu. A very pokey performance on that Kled in game 1. Faker looking to try to stop the recall of Kuzan. Walks up a little bit, and what do you know? He is able to cancel that channel. Going to be suffering a bit in CS, as you would expect, being a basically melee champion with that Katarina.
Mid party.
Oh boy. It's the game of try to kill Faker. Little path forward, tries to get onto him. They drop the Frozen Tomb. Beautiful. And he gets tossed back. They find the first blood, goes over to Ixu. Nicely done. And now Peanut in a rough spot as Snowflower has wandered his way up to the top. Burns the flash. Root does come out onto Snowflower. That's going to keep Peanut alive, and the Sonic Wave barely not going to connect. But nicely done. Take 3 people to roam down to mid. They come up with the first blood.
Yeah, the communication there, I guess, wasn't on point from SKT, or Faker just disrespected with his positioning. Could have taken cleanse, but in general it feels like to lane the Katarina effectively, and obviously to get that first reset, you often itemize it, you often take the ignite and help him in that scenario. Keeps his flash, so at least the wraparound ganks won't be as strong, but First Blood Jin Air, good start for them.
Yep. Kicking things off quite nicely, especially with that CS lead that is really growing for Kuzan now, 52-33. Faker will pick up a good amount here.
But he's forced into a really rough itemization also. He rushes the Merc Treads so that he doesn't have a repeat where, because of the longer CC duration, Singed could just ghost in and get the flip. Negatron would almost always be the start into finishing up the Gunblade, but feels like need to stop that duration of the first CC. So probably a pretty smart heads-up choice, but it's a lot of gold to spend. 1,200 gold instead of just the 720 for the Negatron means that the damage is just going to be that much more delayed from Faker.
Yeah, so likely just going to be sitting back, trying to farm him as much as possible. And oh boy, Peanut. He gets found out. Humte jumping in, takes him out quite swiftly with a Dragon's Rage.
Humte's got something about him. He's got some swagger, Achilleos.
When it shows, and definitely showed it right there. Then going low, Teddy stuck on top of that minefield.
Looking at the experience, only half experience to level 6 for Ziggs, so wasn't able to just clear the backline and kill him with ultimate. It's just not done, just getting in some really aggressive wards, and this is what happens in Poppy versus Singed. Singed clears the wave, Poppy's under turret, and Singed can go wherever he wants on the map, and if your jungler's losing Rengar just got solo killed by the enemy jungler. No one's there to stop that Singed from being accountable. And that lack of accountability might allow Jin Air to just have one-way traffic in the early game.
Yeah, so far so good. 1,000 gold up, just 8 minutes in. SKT have not been able to find any advantageous trades, really. Ixu going in trying to...
That change wasn't even in there. That change was 2 years ago when they made it auto-laugh when you flip. Last time Singed was in the meta, more than 2 years ago.
Yep. But what a good, nice, subtle change it is. But, I mean, you can see Ixu just runs up, clears the wave, immediately starts roaming down. It's getting vision inside the jungle of SKT. He's playing this really well.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I think SKT should have gone all in Achilles. They needed a carry in top as well to actually be able to take advantage of the Singed, because they've gone for a snowball mid laner in the Katarina that's a riskier choice, and then they go for Poppy to just lose lane against Singed. If it was someone who could have kill pressure on Singed, less of these variables would have to come together for SKT to get ahead. But actually going for the reliable tank in the late game has cost them in the early game pretty dearly.
So, who would... Well, I might have to hold that thought, actually. Wolf going to get locked down, flashes away from the Deadly Flourish, but that's going to be the Ring of Frost connecting from Kuzan, and they find both kills. Big bomb comes out from Bang, trying to find a kill, jumping over the wall, getting away from the W, but Bang's able to finish him off with a Q and an auto attack. Making use of that short fuse passive. Looks like Kuzan might be able to wander his way out. Needs the blast cone over the wall. And yeah, he will be suiciding inside the base of SK Telecom. So nice execute from him. And Jin Air, a really good spot.
That's really well put together there from Jin Air. Poppy was the first one to react, so multiple members had to die, but only one kill Creshper over. This is Kuzan on a champion he has always been strong on. He has always looked like a top Lissandra. And the reason why I especially liked it here is that he could take teleport, and suddenly now the overextended bot lane has to respect 2 teleports. Is it Singed? Is it Lissandra? Suddenly more risky for Ziggs and Zyra to play their game. And while it wasn't the teleport that secured that kill, the teleport's up for the next time the ult is available.
Yeah. Now, something I did want to ask you before that fight broke out was, I mean, you talk about Huni, you know, should have come in, should have played, you know, a more aggressive top laner. What would you have liked to have seen from him if he had picked a more carry-oriented style top laner?
It just needs to be something punishing. A lot of lanes lose early, like something like a Fiora. If you get ult, then you have a bit more. If you have Tiamat ult, even then, if Singed is far enough ahead, you won't be able to chase them down, so Fiora is an option. Something like a Riven just dominates Singed, but would have been all in on laning phase, and game goes even, you get outscaled. So I just feel that they're losing a lot from Singed having a lot of free mobility, and Rengar, sure, can get ahead. Sure, the respect is there for the power of this pick, but when Rengar starts to lose trades straight up to the Lee Sin, there's a couple of headaches here that SKT kind of have to work their way through before they can resume normal business.
Sure. Well, looks like we had a slight little issue inside the booth of our Jin Air. I think it might have been an audio problem, but have that taken care of. Straight back into the game. Not going to waste any time. So 1,000 gold still in the lead. Is Jin Air been maintaining that for about 3 minutes or so now, and they have since picked up a couple more kills. Turret damage hasn't been much of a factor for either side. Peanut jumps forward, gets on the Snowflower, lands the stun there, or the root rather, and Snowflower, he's going to have to flash out. You can see Kuzan throwing that Glacial Path back up the wall, but Faker, he's going to go in, pops the Death Blossom, comes up with a kill, Death Lotus rather, and they will take him down. 2 kills picked up as Peanut is able to finish off Kuzan. He throws out the Sonic Wave, would be able to finish off Peanut perhaps, but it's a little bit too risky. Now it's going to be that curtain call coming through. Wolf having to body block these last couple shots. Is able to do so. No bullet bending coming up for Teddy. Gets popped into the minefield. There we go. Flashes away. Will keep himself alive for now. Deadly Flourish to just slow up Bang. But nicely played by Teddy to keep himself alive. But SKT, they're able to pick up 2 more kills.
Yeah, the 4v4 actually worked really well for SKT. Faker invested a lot. Didn't have to ignite. Got the first kill. Suddenly everyone from Jin Air has to run away. I thought Jin Air done just enough to get away. Specifically Kuzan, Glacial Path onto an invisible Rengar then escaping, but first kill comes out. 2 kills back for SKT. And now we're all even. In fact, SKT just slightly ahead.
Yeah, Death Lotus, not Death Blossom. That was my game I was casting last night. Have to make that
Wait,
distinction.
which Riot Games title is that, sorry?
It's Riot Game.
Oh, okay. Mechs versus Minions, is that the one?
We'll see. There's got to be another game on the horizon, so I'm excited to see what that might be. Who knows when that'll happen, though. But for now, we have some good old League of Legends.
Just to be clear, we have no inside information.
Oh,
on
I
that.
have no
You're not being clever. You're just being a play-by-play caster. You don't know.
No. I'm just saying it's bound.
I don't want to get any messages from Riot Games,
Right,
Achilles.
Sure. I think that it will happen. I have no clue.
I'll just
I would
stick
like
with the
to
last
think.
part of that conversation.
All right. Anyway. Janair slipping up a little bit now. The gold made even by SKT after that quite nice play. Snowflower, he's going to get rooted up. They want to go in. Peanut jumping in. Great health. Does come through. Keeping Snowflower alive for the time being, but Peanut is able to finish him off. Bang, running for his life. Jukes out on the deadly flourish. The root comes through on Ote. Bang! He doesn't go down, and they pick up the kill. A double kill for Peanut. Throws out the ultimate to clear out the wave. Can they get a push on the tower? We'll have to wait and see, but my God, Bang played that to a T.
And just Snowflower can't get down any wards to actually get benefit out of Kuzan's teleport. He had to run down because there wasn't a ward that was in a really good spot to be able to react. Snowflower goes down. This game hasn't entirely planned out like we expected, but SKT wrestling back momentum, and even with Singed having a fun old time in top, Poppy's keeping up in CS. Singed hasn't been able to roam to mid and make the kind of plays he did in the early game. Suddenly, breathing room for SKT.
Oh, for sure. One kill on to Bang there, 1-0-2. And still slightly down in CS, but I think that's going to turn around for him. Interesting that he's going for the Tear of the Goddess on Ziggs. Haven't seen a whole lot of that in the Ziggs bottom builds.
When Lost Chapter isn't enough mana regen for you, you need a Tear apparently. You're right, that is a new adaptation. I noticed it as well. It seemed extra risky just because they were losing the early game and they're not buying early power.
Uh-oh, Peanut.
This is risky for Peanut.
Oh, boy. Now he's going to get locked down. Frozen Tombs comes out. Not going to be able to live.
He even had the...
Will finish him off. Faker, he goes for it. Throws out the Death Lotus. Gets a lot of damage on the Umti. Falls him over the wall with the Blast Cone. The Ignite is ticking. Throws out the Bouncing Blade. Finishes him off. Nicely played by Faker. And now the roam down from Huni. Wolf joining the squad. They take down Kuzan, and things are just starting to unravel ever so steadily for Janair.
And you can instantly see how the experience for Faker has put into benefit. Bang in the bot lane, though.
Oh, yeah, he's going to knock him back with the Satchel Charge, throws out the ultimate, flashes to the other side, and here comes Huni, knocks two up with the Keeper's Verdict. Devour coming through from Snowflower onto Ixu, but Wolf is on the roam down. Going to try to lock them up with roots, flashes forward, finds Ixu, the exhaust comes out, throws out a massive ultimate, will pop him up, stun into the wall on Teddy by Huni. Faker coming around the backside. Can he get the tumble? No, he won't. The kill goes over to Bang, but that's three more picked up for SKT. Plus the first brick gold coming through. They have blown this game wide open in a matter of minutes.
Janair had the lid on the SKT Chaos in the early game, but one Rengar ult into a second. Suddenly, Chaos reigns supreme. Faker's able to walk down, and still nowhere for Lissandra to really become involved in this fight, and that's really costing Janair Green Wings.
I mean, fantastic response by Huni as well, immediately channeling the teleport when they saw that Abyssal Voyage.
To Lissandra's credit, she was dead this time.
Sure.
She had been picked off, but Faker very smart in his roam, coming around the back. You just can't push up lanes when your mid laner with teleport is dead. Ixu's able to get there, but doesn't have any impact. There goes the bot lane turret, and now the Ziggs bot cancer spreads to mid lane.
We'll see how quickly he can knock down this turret. Kuzan does have some pretty reliable wave clears, so might be a bit more difficult to get in underneath of that one.
Reliable is true, but it's because it takes 2Q that's actually quite delayed wave clear. We don't have a Victor that just instant kills the backline. It takes a bit of time for that Lissandra as Peanut goes again, but this time Tahm Kench does his job.
Yeah, he's ready to keep his AD carry alive, so Peanut won't even be getting any damage in onto Teddy. We'll make it out safely, and we'll just have to wait a little bit longer for Peanut to get that cooldown back up and try again.
There was so much breathing room for Janair early. Those two early kills, it was 2-0 at one point, but Faker forced into Merc Treads. Suddenly, he's ahead of the build curve.